right, it is time now for our rants and raves of the week. Starting with Dan, what do you got?
I have a rant. I have a rant for kids these days.
Kids these days.
There is a Baylor University study out that shows that college-age kids are spending almost half their waking hours on their cell phones. And by far the activity that they're doing the most is texting their friends. But they're also checking email, tweeting on Facebook. I think that we're about the media. There are certain good things about the mediated life, but this is just way too much. They need to come back to earth. I wonder how much worse it's going to get if the Apple Watch catches on. And there's one more thing that they can use to be in virtual reality instead of actual reality all the time. So, kids, get off my lawn.
Are they texting in your classroom, by the way?
Not
if you can stop
Not
it.
if I can stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine they do.
All right, Callie, what do you got?
I have a rave, and people who follow this show will be shocked because I have been a fierce, angry person about these new, glossy, Vox First Look, new media verticals with all the big name folks, the 538s, the Josh Silvers. No diversity. None. And their excuse, can't find any, don't know where they are, blah, blah, blah. But BuzzFeed has just hired 3 black folks. In addition to that, they have, and Kelly Carter is the one that I'm really excited about because I know her and I know her work. She's been hired as a senior editor in entertainment. She is fabulous. Ben Smith, the editor, let's give him a shout out. He read the work of some of the other 2 people and said, hey, these are great folks. He said, I'm embarrassed that the timing was that all 3 of them were hired together, so it looks like I wouldn't do that if I just hired 3 white people. And by the way, BuzzFeed just got an award from the National Association of Hispanic Journalists because they actually have Latino journalists who they consider journalists who can actually report on immigration and other things. So go ahead, BuzzFeed. These are not the gray hairs.
Now that's a good sign.
This is a good sign.
They have some good trash on there.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
All right, Farrah, what do you got?
My rave is for all the great coverage of the 40th anniversary of busing in Boston. I think at the time of busing in Boston, it was so, emotional that we're covering it in a different way, and now people are taking a great look back. WGBH is doing a great job, and I think they've had they're doing a year-long series. With the Schuster Center for
Schuster Institute. And Phil Martin got those unbelievable letters.
Yes, that's
those
exactly
kids
it.
had written 40 years ago.
Yes, and track down what had happened to those kids. I think that's a really cool idea, and I can't wait to see the next installment. The Globe did a really big takeout, so good stuff.
Yeah, very good. All right, Marjorie, what do you got?
I get a rant for the media's obsession with all things Apple. I mean, I know we all have to be all Appled up to be hip and chic with our iPods, iPhones, iPhones, iPhones. But I mean, look, I picked up this headline. I went to just a quick search. ABC News. Listen to this. This is ABC News. Where to pre-order the new Apple iPhone 6 and Phone 6 Plus, like an ad. The hotly anticipated iPhone 6, and they write this whole story, and don't mention anywhere in this
any Samsung in there?
No, they don't mention Samsung, or they don't mention the whole hacking scandal that wound up with Jennifer Lawrence and all these stars having pictures out on the internet that was. So we really roll over for Apple in a way that I think is very unflattering to
it's a real curiosity because it's almost like the latest Star Wars movie.
Yes.
It's the same kind of phenomenon. There are any of the other good movies, but that's always the lead story, or 60 Minutes profiles it or something, but why is that?
I'm glad Marjorie ranted about that because she's absolutely right. It's kind of sickening. But why did we do that? I looked at the 10 most emailed stories on the New York Times the other day. 3 of them were about the Apple product announcement this week.
But that's because we've done so much hype.
We can't get enough. I don't know why.
It's taking over our life.
It is.
But isn't that what comes first, the chicken and the egg? We give all this hype, everybody knows about it.
And I think Samsung has been a very, very heavy competitor, and so that is ridiculous to have a piece with not saying that Apple ripped off. I'm an Apple owner, but they ripped off the best features of Samsung. That's what they did.
Well, I read a story that said that's what they did.
Well,
I don't remember where I read it, but
I think we're over-Appled myself.
we are.
Yeah,
I am.
I know, me too.
All right, well, I have a rave for our old old good buddy Mark Jerkowitz, who of course used to work for the Boston Globe, the Boston Phoenix, and he was a regular panel right here on WGBH's Beat the Press a couple of weeks ago. He went to Washington, D.C. to work for the Pew Center, which was, a journalistic think institute. He's been there a long time. Within the last couple of weeks, he has bought a little newspaper, the Outer Banks Sentinel in
North Carolina.
Yeah. And it's something that he said he's always wanted to do. I guess he had a vacation place now. Now he's moved there, and he's basically got a staff of 2, I think.
Wow.
Maybe he and his wife, and that's it. But, here's a guy who, I was going to pull some old sound of him, predicting the doom of newspapers or something. We would have had to dig back into the archives. But here he is, doing something that he really loves. I used to say about Mark Jerkowitz, there's no one who could speak as clearly as he could write on the face of the universe. Mark Jerkowitz spoke like he wrote. No ums and ahs. He had perfect parenthetical clauses.
Ooh.
I used to just be rapt when he spoke on Beat the Press.
And he's a great, good humor person,
Yes.
too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll do well. Independent community papers without debt are still a good business. And
Does he have any debt?
Does the paper have debt? I have no idea, but he'll do well with it.
What did he pay for it, do you know?
I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Probably not much.
Not much. All right, well, good luck to him.
so great.
Absolutely.